Mr. Attorney General, how does the Department of Justice view Muslim Americans in our national effort to keep America safe from terrorism?
We view that community as essential partners in the fight against terrorism. They are an essential part of our counterterrorism fight, have proven to be reliable sources of information. A great many of the successes that we have had and that I've talked about or that attention has been brought to came as a result of leads that we got from members of the Muslim American community. We've had extensive outreach efforts in the department and the investigative agencies within the department, in particular the FBI, to reach out to the Muslim American community to put at rest the concerns they have, the fears they have about their interaction with law enforcement. And I have to say that I've been very encouraged by the response we have generally gotten from that community.
I thank you for your answer. It is consistent with the statements made by the previous administration. After 9/11, I thought President Bush's statements were right on, spot on, in reminding people that our enemy is not those of the Muslim faith, but those who would corrupt it into violent extremism. The reason I raise this issue is that guidelines were established on profiling in the Department of Justice, and the guidelines are explicit that neither race nor ethnicity shall be used to any degree. And of course that's obvious. Using racial profiling to arrest African Americans, using ethnic profiling to arrest those who appear to be Hispanic is totally inconsistent with our values in this country. But notably, religion was excluded from that list. Only race and ethnicity were included. And we have found that the FBI agents who were given counterterrorism training were unfortunately subjected to many stereotypes of Islam and Muslims. For example, FBI agents in training were told that, quote, Islam is a highly violent, radical religion. Quote, mainstream American Muslims are likely to be terrorist sympathizers. And, quote, the Arabic mind is swayed more by ideas than facts. We also found, for example, one public FBI intelligence assessment claims that wearing traditional Muslim attire, growing facial hair, and frequent attendance at a mosque or prayer group are all indicators of possible extremism. Recently released documents show the FBI is engaged in widespread surveillance of mosques and innocent American Muslims with no suspicion of wrongdoing. Can you reconcile that activity and those training guides with your initial statement concerning your view that I share on the role of Muslim Americans? And can you comment on how someone who is Muslim in America reads of these things and believes that the actual training underway and the actual surveillance underway are inconsistent with the stated principles?
Well, the information that you've just read is flat out wrong and is inconsistent with what we have been trying to do here at the department. Those views do not reflect the views of the Justice Department, the FBI. It's regrettable that that information was, in fact, a part of a training program. That person is not being used anymore by the FBI, and we are reviewing all of the materials, all of our training materials, to ensure that that kind of misinformation is not being used, because that can really undermine the really substantial outreach efforts that we have made, and really have a negative impact on our ability to communicate effectively, as we have in the past, with this community. And I almost hesitate to say this community, because the reality is when we say Muslim Americans, we're talking about Americans, American citizens, who have the same desires that we all have, who want their kids to be safe, who want the opportunities that this great country has to offer them. And that kind of information, that kind of training sets back those efforts. And so we have distanced ourselves from that person, those statements, and have a process underway to review the materials to make sure that that mistake does not happen in the future.